So are you still doing the worms part?
Yes, it's the 23rd anniversary of the worms. I'm still doing worm workshops and talking about the worms, but the manual growing of the worms, I've passed that off to the younger generation.
Okay, so you're an advocate for the worms, but you're not doing like the quote unquote manual labor of the worm factory.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If you want to know what we're talking about, my guest today is Cathy Nesbitt. And I stumbled upon Cathy on LinkedIn because she was offering a free drop-in laughter yoga session. And I don't even know what connected us in the algorithm of LinkedIn, but I was like, oh, I've so been interested in laughter yoga
Mm.
for a long time. I lived in San Francisco for a long time and places would have it, but I just never got myself to one. So, dear listener, I stalked Cathy on LinkedIn and sent her a personal message. She's like, "Who are you?" And I said, "I would love to have you as a guest. Come be on my podcast and talk about laughter yoga." And she said, "Yes, ha ha ha." And here we are. Hi, Cathy. Say
Hi,
hello.
Jessica. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Totally. It's so fun. I feel like just exuberant, laughing energy and being in the Zoom room with you.
Right? The energy transcends. It's so beautiful.
It does, and lifts us. Yeah. So you came into laughter yoga at a time when you were managing or you founded a composting company. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Clarify this
Kathy's
for
Crawley Composters. Yeah, back in 2002.
cool.
So, for the listeners, a little bit of background. I'm located in Canada, just north of Toronto, largest city in Canada. And in 2002, our landfill closed. And
Ah,
Canada's a pretty large country, second largest in the world. And we couldn't find a place to site a new landfill. And I mean, I don't mean I just think the government wasn't thinking about it. They're like,
They're like
oh, there was room for
someone
today's
else's
garbage.
problem. You guys
That's
figured that
tomorrow's
out,
problem. That's it.
right? That's the mentality.
It
Mhm.
is, it is. Yeah, the government is not business for sure. They're more anyway, enough
Mhm.
about government, enough about them. Anyway, so we started to export our garbage to the US.
Ah,
Almost 1,000 trucks a week made the trip from Toronto to Michigan. And
whoa.
I know, wow,
We
it's
talked about
shocking, right? That what we don't know about what
right,
goes on.
right.
And I had a solution. This is indoor composting with worms. So for all the people in Toronto, 6 million people, half live in condos, townhouses, place without outdoor composting,
Mhm.
place without space to do outdoor composting. And
Mhm,
this is
mhm.
indoor. So worms in the house. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah. I mean, if you have
Yeah.
kids, you probably have worms in the house anyway.
Right. Without your knowing, they're in the pocket when you do the laundry.
Yeah,
Check
they're
the
in your
pockets.
shoe. Yeah. So this was the like the advent of your idea, and then you founded a business on it, correct?
Yes.
And
Yeah. And I
it's
just
still going.
It is, yes. 23 years selling worms by the pound. Can you imagine?
Cool.
It's really when I look back, I'm like, wow, it's so amazing. The impact that I've had. Over 100,000 students have seen my presentation. I've spoken at garden clubs. I've traveled to Guatemala to work with the worms. It's really amazing, and I think that you will agree once you find your way and you settle into what it is that you really want to do, magic happens. Things come your way, opportunities open up. And I think when we say yes to life, people say, oh, don't say yes all the time. Like start saying no. It's like I say yes to everything that serves me, not as
Mhm.
a people pleaser anymore.
Uh-huh. Recovered people pleaser.
Recovering, right? Or recovered. Yeah, but yes, because when we say no, we shut the door.
Mhm.
And that might be a great opportunity. We don't know if we're like, oh, I don't know what I would do there. Just say yes and then figure it out.
Yeah. You don't have to know, but if you say no, you'll never know.
Well
I
said.
have
I love that.
Confucianisms.
That's
So
awesome.
so you had your worm business was going. right? And what I'm gathering, and kind of from a bit of what I read about your work, is that you were met with people who said no, right? Or met with people who didn't cheer you on, like adversity, or people not wanting to collaborate or not seeing it as the positive solution that it was. And that's how you came to laughter yoga, correct?
Yeah, so I think the word worm has bad energy. Like a can of worms is like, oh, now you've opened a can of worms. I go, yay, can of worms, and then I go, oh, I know it's a bad thing. Sorry.
Yes.
Right, a computer virus is often considered a worm or a tapeworm. Like worm
And
just is
testing.
has
Yeah.
bad energy. And I
Mhm.
think if people were traumatized as a child, after a rainy day, the worms come out, or by a sibling, a fishing incident, you're not looking to that as a solution as an adult. So
Mm,
there's kind of a barrier there to the worms being a great idea.
mhm,
And I had heard, ooh, worms in the house hundreds of times, and I wasn't listening. I'm like, no, 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 you need this. But Jessica, people don't buy what they need, they buy what they want, and they didn't want what I had.
mm,
2012, so 10 years into my worm mission, one more person said, ew, worms in the house. And I heard it, I felt it, I questioned everything. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am
mm,
I going to put worms in every living space if people are still afraid of worms?
mhm,
And I'm very quick. I get an idea and I want it to come to life right away.
mhm,
And it wasn't, well, 10 years, I still was staying with it because I knew it was a great idea. And the very next day, I was introduced to laughter yoga. Laughter yoga is not doing yoga and laughing. It's laughing as a cardiovascular exercise. It's just
mm,
laughing.
mm. I think people do have the idea that it's like you're in down dog and then you're supposed to laugh while you're upside down. And how does that work? And how does that serve me? Um, can you give us a sample of what happens in a laughter yoga class?
Absolutely, yes. So during so it is a cardiovascular workout. So you start with a warm up, and there's little games to inspire the laughter. It's not jokes or comedy because jokes are cultural, right? Two people going somewhere, it's not funny for those two people at least.
Mhm.
So it's games to inspire the laughter. So there's clapping, and when we're clapping palm to palm. We're activating meridians. So the
Mm.
rhythm is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and the words are ho ho ha ha ha.
So if you're just listening to this, we're clapping on one side of the body with the two hands together and then moving to the other side of the body. And we're saying,
So
ho,
ho ho
ho,
ha
ha,
ha
ha.
ha.
So two
Ho
claps
ho
and then
ha
three
ha
claps.
ha. That's it.
Oh,
And it doesn't matter. You can't mess up. Like that's just for a little bit of movement. You can
okay.
clap on your body like your shoulders ho ho and then your legs ha ha ha. Whatever that's just to get you warmed up. And that allows people who are logical, the ones that are in their head thinking they can think their way out of problems. Haha, you can't, just so you know. Um, right? You can't think your way out of the same thought process that got you where you to that problem. So that helps people that are in their head, like they're like, oh, you want me just to laugh for no reason? That's right. Well, there's lots of health benefits, but there's no stimulus. So this helps people like Pavlov's dog. Remember the ringing of the bell and the dog would salivate. Same idea. So when we start doing our ho ho ha ha ha, it gets us into our body and it sends a note to our brain. Hey, I must be happy. I'm clapping, right? You're not usually like clapping when you're stressed, when you're flopping around looking for your keys. You're not like ho ho ha ha ha.
You should be though. Yeah.
You should be.
Or if you have
And
a clapper on your keys, maybe that's why it's put there.
so the laughter yoga is as I said, not doing yoga and laughing. It's laughing as an exercise. There's little games to inspire the laughter. The yoga part is the deep diaphragmatic breathing and the practice of the laughter. It is a practice. Jessica, and again, I think you would probably agree with this. Once we feel good, we put aside the maintenance. We forget, like we're like, oh, look at this to-do list. There's no time for me to go to the gym.
Mm,
There's no time for me to go and to sit and read in the sun for a few minutes. I'm too busy. I got so many things. So we put aside those things that help us feel good. And I'm suggesting that people do those self-maintenance, self-care things first. Put yourself first. And I have a very strict frame. I frame my day around self-care techniques. I get up early, get first sun on my eyes, which helps to reset the melatonin so I sleep well. I earth, so I'm out there barefoot, weather dependent, not in the snow. Weather dependent, I'm out there earthing, so getting the earth's energy, sun on my eyes, and I do some beautiful gentle stretches, some energy work just to get into my body. It only takes 15 or 20 minutes, that's it. And then
Mhm.
I'm set. That's there's no I don't go a day without that.
Mhm.
That's how I start my day every day because I noticed if I didn't, I don't stop, I don't not do it now, but if I didn't before, I was like, something was off with my day.
Yeah.
There was something I didn't know what was happening, but my body was noticing.
Mhm. How old are you, Kathy?
I'm 62.
Awesome. Yeah. Look at you. And so you're so vibrant and lively and have so much energy.
I feel better than I felt in my whole life.
Yeah.
Laughter has given me permission. So I've been laughing since 2012. It was kind
Not since the day you were born.
well, really, like as it were when I was introduced to laughter yoga. So it was kind of a hobby in 2012. I would go with my mother-in-law. She was so beautiful. She passed in 2021. And she would tell people I would do whatever whenever Kathy asked me to do something, I would say yes because it's always an adventure. So when I was introduced to laughter yoga, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds fun. I don't know what it is. I called up my mother-in-law and I was like, hey, Mary, you want to go to laughter yoga? And she said, what's that? And I said, I don't know, but I don't want to go alone. So she said yes. And we went to laughter yoga. It was weird. So for anyone listening going, what is that? It's weird the first time because
Mhm.
or maybe not. Um, Whenever we do something new, it's new. So
Right.
we're creating new neural pathways and like ever started a new job and you're like nervous because what if you can't do the job? I hope they like me. I hope the boss is nice. I don't know, whatever the thoughts we have.
Mhm.
And then or starting a new course or anything. We're moving to a new place. There's always that apprehension like, oh, how's it going to be? Same
Yeah.
with laughter.
Mhm.
Same with laughter. And so my mother-in-law and I went and we were looking at each other because it's not jokes or comedy, little games. And we were doing that side eye thing, like we were doing the thing, like doing what we were told, playing along, but it was weird. So we were like, oh, this is what's happening here. This is so strange. And when the class was over, we're walking back to her condo, and I was like, wow, that was really odd experience. I feel great. How do you feel? And it became our date night. So we would go every month out for dinner and then to Laughter Club. It was so beautiful.
Mhm.
And then the club closed, and it was at a very busy spot in Toronto. Like thousands, maybe 20,000 people live in that corner, like in condos.
Mhm.
And I
Wow.
was like sad. I thought, man, they just don't know this super fun thing is right here. No
Mm.
jokes or comedy, like it's just fun. And you
Mhm.
feel great because when we're laughing, we're secreting all the love drugs, dopamine,
Yeah.
oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins
Mm.
versus cortisol and adrenaline and epinephrine, whatever, all those stress chemicals.
Mhm.
And we're fully oxygenating our beautiful body. You can't just ha ha ha, you're exhaling. You have to take a nice deep breath in.
Ah, yeah.
Right? It's so beautiful. This laughter practice is a gift that's waiting in all of us. We knew at one time
Mhm.
laughter was squished out by the Greeks.
What? Tell me about that.
So Plato and Aristotle, they were so cerebral. They thought that laughing was frivolous.
Oh, a
So
waste
the more
of time.
a waste of time. Yes. So the more you laugh, or the more educated you were, the less you laughed
Oh,
because it was frowned upon.
okay. So this
And I
it
believe that's still
sugar
in our
rush.
DNA. I believe that's still in our DNA today. On a certain level, people will like look at you funny if you're laughing by yourself. Like, oh, there's something wrong with that person because they're
Yeah.
laughing. But
Mm.
it's fine for somebody to walk in a room and they're really grumpy and in that dark energy, it seems to be fine because that's how we're walking around today.
Yeah, it's normal.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, 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 that's common. But if you're laughing, you're a lunatic or you're childlike or you're uneducated.
Right? Exactly. And really the truth is that it's in us waiting. You know, some people have different addictions. I know that's one of your specialty is alcohol. And so when people sometimes people will drink or do drugs or sex or overeat or whatever they do to get those hits.
Hmm.
Like we eat
Oh, yeah.
those, whatever, that junk food, and we get that dopamine hit. Like, we know it's not good for us, but when it's going in at the moment, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, yeah, we need that hit. But laughter supplies that same hit.
Laughter gives it to us
Mhm.
without the side effects, without any, there's no hangover, there's no sore muscles, only at the time where you get your sore stomach, where you're like, oh
Mhm.
my
Oh,
gosh,
that's
stop
the
laughing, or the
best.
cheeks, right?
That's the best. Yeah, I like my laugh lines.
Right? Yeah, so beautiful. So it's really there's a lot of research showing that laughter is the best medicine.
Mm.
Around the world, there's medicine, and this laughter yoga was started in 1995. It's the 30th anniversary by a
Ah.
medical doctor in India, Dr. Madan Kataria, and his goal is world peace. Jessica, how wonderful,
Well, if we're all laughing together, it's really hard to want to punch somebody in the face or like kick them off their land and murder them. You know,
right?
yeah, I, I, laughter is the best medicine. It's also like a really valuable tool for cooperation and cohesion. I'll notice like with my kids, I have four of them from 3 to 10. If I am like militantly trying to get them to do what I need them to do so we can be on time and blah, 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 and like the day can function, I am so tired and stressed out, and like they don't want to do it, and they're checked out, and they feel like I'm controlling them. But if I just so simply turn it into a subtle game or use a funny voice or anything that makes them feel like we're just playing, they do it so easy. We all have such a such a much better time. I forget that too because I love comedy and I love humor, and I'm really getting into. I'm going to come to one of your classes that I haven't been to yet, but there, it's really maybe it is consequential of the great Greek classics writing about how humor is like degradatory or whatever, but it's not. It's a natural part of our being. It's like it's something that has power, right? Because humor does have power and laughter has power, and if something has power that people have access to themselves, people who want control over people need to control that. They need to squash that and control that, like our bodies or our food supply or our ability to heal ourselves. And if laughter is grouped into that category, well, then for sure, there are manipulative sources and powers and structures that want that turned off. So it's
Imagine
almost
if
like
we,
an act of rebellion to be laughing with a group of people.
it is, yes, imagine if people that were, and I'm not suggesting anybody that's on antidepressants to just stop taking them. However, imagine if we were laughing as a group, and there is science for folks that are feeling depressed, anxious, all of those low vibrating energies. Imagine instead of taking a pill that you did come to a giggle club. Like how wonderful we're because again, there's no side effects. And without saying anything bad about the pharma industry, although I'm not really a fan, like it really does. It imagine if everybody was laughing instead of taking antidepressants, like the pharma companies may go out of business. Because
Yeah.
that's what we're pushing right now is just like, oh, you're sad, here, take this. Oh, now you've got that thing, now you need this one. It
Yeah.
just seems, and it's a great business. There's nothing like if we're looking at the pharmaceutical industry as a business, well, I could take a note. Like
Yeah.
it's like, wow, they're
Thriving.
right, they're thriving. However, are they doing good? I don't know. And is there a place for medicine? There is. I'm not, again, please don't just come to a laughter club and stop taking your meds. No. Um, yeah, I just think that we need to look at other ways rather than just looking for the quick fix. It's a long-term game that I'm hoping to help people with through laughter. You know, when I don't know how it is anywhere else in the world, but in Canada, when you go to a walk-in clinic or you go to, I took my mom to a kidney specialist, and there was a whole whack of people lined up for dialysis. There's a channel in Canada called CP24, and it's 24 News. So it's got several panels. First of all, it's very, I can't watch it. It just makes me stressed just watching it. It's too much. It's loud. They've got the NASDAQ, the stock exchange running across the bottom. Then there's the traffic. They'll show the traffic. So if you're going anywhere, you're like, look at, ooh, it's traffic. And then the weather is not even the weather anymore. The weather, there's always a special weather warning. Like, so that's always red. And then they talk about, the tragic things that happened. Oh, and if you missed it 10 minutes ago, here are the highlights again, like about, all the murder and rape and all the things. And I'm like, why do they have this playing in a
And the
medical
way,
facility?
yeah.
Why? Why not have like nothing or have relaxation music or have the fireplace or the waterfall image? I don't
It's
know. Like,
so
I'm not in
simple,
charge.
right? This is like such simple math. This is the most obvious thing that we can do that's like subtle, free, if not, very inexpensive shifts for our wellness. And I feel like it's so intentionally not that way. It's
Right.
intentionally
That's it.
fear-based, illness inducing, isolating societies that are created above us that we live in, and we take for granted that that's just the way that they are. But the way out of this matrix is really is like a coming back into ourselves and our innate abilities to heal, which is a lot about what this podcast is about, which is why I wanted to talk to you. Laughter being one of the ones that's not really that talked about. I mean, if you're a funny person or you hang out with funny people or you like watching comedy or you in some other way get your laugh fix, but this is just so simple. I mean, and it's like, yeah, you could go to a laughter club and or a giggle club and laugh with other people and like feel that energy of being in a room of other people just like totally laughing. But I imagine that there's like, is there simple things that people can do to like induce laughter by themselves?
Yeah.
Say
So
someone's listening and they want to go. Yeah, tell them.
yeah, thank you. I would love to address a few of the things that you said there. You talked about stress and fear. So laughter's the opposite of that.
Mm.
Laughter is the opposite of stress because when we're laughing, we're totally present. We're not thinking about anything. We're not even thinking. And sometimes when I'm leading laughter club, I totally forget all the exercises because I'm so present.
Yeah.
Right? We're so present. We're not thinking, oh my gosh, that thing I did or that meeting I have coming up. We're right here, right now,
Mm.
just laughing. So it connects us on a deeper level. What can people do? You can laugh on your own. It's not as easy.
Mm.
And yes, you can watch funny movies or go to a comedy club. However, jokes are cultural, or jokes are as an adult, jokes go through several filters. It's very, very fast. And when we hear a joke, we go, okay, is this my humor? I've
Mm.
heard that joke before. It wasn't the funny the first time. I'm not going to laugh again. What are
Mm.
these people going to think that I'm laughing, that I'm with? Is it okay if I laugh?
Mm.
All those filters, very fast. It's not like logically we think all these things. It's just like, and then, oh, it's funny, I can laugh. So it's conditional.
Ah.
Where laughter yoga is not conditioned. It's not, there's no stimulus. It's just laughing. And if you come to a laughter club, if you come to my laughter club, I get about 30 little Zoom squares. I have a lot of laughter professionals who come because
Okay.
I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong, all these healing modalities with the laughter. Laughter goes with everything.
Ah.
So that's what I would suggest for people to do. First thing you can do is just put a smile on.
Okay.
Just smile, just a big grin with your teeth showing. Yay. And you can look in the mirror and you do your power pose, like stand like Wonder Woman or, with your hands over your head, like the victory pose.
Oh,
Because just changing your physiology
mhm,
changes your state. And
totally.
today we're on a lot of like, oh, so I'll continue with that. But today I don't have a cell phone. I'll just drop that, um, which I know is like, oh, yeah,
Amazing. I'm so impressed right now.
thank you.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I said thank you. I mean, it's just it's that I'm a radical environmentalist, so cell phones are highly toxic. I mean, just the batteries, all the parts that are needed. There's a lot of mining in parts that we don't even see, like especially in North America, we're like, oh, all those things are mined elsewhere. What do we care?
We have
And
no idea.
then
No
and
idea.
then they're disposed of. Like in 2009, I was doing a show on a local TV program, and I was the environmentalist. Once a month, I would go. And in 2009, I did a show on cell phones. In 2009, 549,000 cell phones were discarded daily in the US alone.
Daily.
Daily,
Oh my
daily.
God.
And that's before 2012 when the smart things came out, when we got all the smart things. So now it's got to be even more,
Wow.
right? People are upgrading all the time. Well, like, oh, this thing's useless. Get rid of it. Bunk, get a new
Oh,
one.
okay.
Wow, it's mind blowing. So I was like,
That
I
is
don't
so.
need to be a contributor to that. It's part of my brand now, and I love the shock value. I love telling people that I don't have a cell phone, and
It's a
like
good one.
young people literally like early young like teens and early 20s, they literally stop breathing if we're in person
They
when
can't
I
even
say
imagine.
that. They can't even imagine. They're just like deer in the headlights like, and I'm like, "Okay,
People
come
like
back, breathe,
by
breathe."
choice. I don't have a cell phone by choice.
By choice. That's right. Like
Wow.
imagine think of the dough I've saved.
Wow,
The
totally.
stress I don't have because I never have to think, where's my cell phone? Is it charged? Do I have any bars? I never have to think those things.
Five places
I
where you
do.
and you use a map or like print out.
I
Remember
have a map.
printed out directions?
I do have printed out directions and I do have a GPS. I do.
Okay.
That is something I do have a GPS. So yeah, so I
But
do have
everything your
technology.
phone has, you can get an analog or another single use device for.
I was in before COVID, I was in I do a lot of school workshops and I was in a class, so 2019, and it was grade 12. And I talked about not having a cell phone, and when the power goes out, people will come to me to find out how to get home because I know how to read a map. I don't even know why I said that, but things come to me. And this young man, grade 12, said to me, I've never even seen a paper map.
Whoa.
2019. So I said, oh my gosh, here's your homework. Go to a gas station, buy a paper map, learn how to read it, and then you will be the one that people will go to. Your friends will come to you. They'll be like, wow, you have this skill. Like, wow, you're a magician. How did you know how to read that thing?
No kidding. Oh, wow. I mean,
So
it's really,
teach your kids how to read a
but
map. I
we're
mean, it's
losing in the dependency on our phones. Like, I don't even know. I only know my own phone number. But yeah, I remember
right.
in high school, I knew like 30 phone numbers by heart.
Right. So what does that do to our brain? I don't know. I know the kids have different skills because they're certainly not afraid of technology. Like, oh, what if I delete everything? Or, they're not afraid of trying things online, which may be a detriment too. I don't know.
Mhm.
But we definitely have different skills having not been raised with cell phones.
Yeah. I think my generation is the last generation that was born before the internet, that had a childhood before the internet.
Hmm. Yeah.
Miss it.
Right. I mean, Sundays where there was, everything was closed. I don't know if you're that young.
I'm here. I'm in a Catholic country, so everything's closed on Sunday. But like doing,
Still, it's still closed on Sunday.
oh yeah,
Oh, I love that. I want to go back to those days.
doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, it's
So
nice.
beautiful. Yeah.
And they close at midday for like a 2 or 3 hour lunch. All
Oh, love
those
it.
businesses. Yeah, it's a slower pace of life here in Spain and in other countries in Europe than the U.S. Which like when I got here, I was like, why am I'm so go go go? How come everyone else is not go go go? Let's do do do. And I was like, because I was programmed to behave like a machine.
Right? To always be doing rather than
Yeah, always
just
on,
being,
just be. And
just
like the
be.
guilt trip that comes with just being.
There's a lot of programming to unprogram.
Totally, totally. And the thing that I was going to tie back to you and your work is that phones give us this cop out from doing things with people and being human to human. And so something like, I think people are we're having this like change, this pivoting time, or I can kind of sense it and feel it, or maybe I just imagine or wish it to be so, that craving more human contact. And so like if you had the option to, I mean, it's great to do laughter yoga online Zoom if that's the option, but if you had the
Of
option to
course.
come do it in person, people might want to choose the person option if they had it available to them, if it was close to them. I feel like I'd rather go 15 minutes to a yoga class to do yoga with other people than to put it on YouTube in my TV and just and be in this virtual realm all the time. It's like we need each other's energy and like the tactileness of sitting in a room with people and feeling the sensation of doing something in community, like laughter yoga or a yoga class or like something. It's a community building place, and
It is, and we are social creatures,
for sure.
right? So how do you torture people? You isolate them. That's
Yeah.
what happened in 2020. Two
That was
years in Canada and Australia. We were battling Australia for longest lockdown, and we were around 2 years.
wow.
2 years locked down, so compliant. I mean, we were grumbling about it, but I'm still meeting people who are affected. Was it last week? I met a young girl. Um, she was in grade 10 in 2020. And she said to me, I'm smart, I have emotional intelligence, I'm confident, and I still feel like I'm missing 2 years of my life.
Wow.
Because she was in high school, right? She was in grade 10 when the lockdown came. And it's just like the whole thing is still shocking to me that that's how that's how you get control because people were so afraid. And I recently heard a thing with Tony Robbins. He said, what happened before 2020? We had all this energy, we were doing this and doing that, and then we were locked down. No point in having all that energy. So in the 2 years or however long it was wherever you are, um, we needed to just naturally tamp down our energy. So we
Mm,
became slower. So I don't know how it is, again, for the listeners, but people are having trouble committing to in-person events. They may want to, and I'm an outrovert. I'm an extrovert.
outrovert, I like.
I need people. And
Mm,
even I struggle now. Like I might hear something 2 weeks out. Oh, that sounds fun. I want to go to that. And then when the time comes, I'm like, sometimes even now I'm still like, oh, do I really want to go? I'm always happy when I go, but I
right.
still question like, oh, I could just stay home.
Yeah.
So I wonder how it is for people who were introverts before, loved their own company, and then they were locked down, and now it must be even harder for them to get back out into public.
Mm, mm. I mean, it definitely left an indelible mark on our collective psyche.
Yes.
I think it's interesting. I'm like, studies will be done, I'm sure, to like look back and study different groups of people at this time. But both of I have two boys who are now 5 and 3. And when we moved here, one hadn't been born yet and one was 9 months, but he went to the guarderia, we call it, which is like a preschool here. And everyone had a mask. All the teachers wore masks. And if you were 2 years or older, you wore a mask to school also.
Mm.
So they never did Zoom school, but they were in school like this. And um, my boys might hear this episode later, but both of my boys have lisps and like speech, and not, I wouldn't call them speech impediments, like they'll probably grow out of them, but way more pronounced. I'm feeling like more pronounced than they would have been. And my daughters never had it. So I don't know.
Mm.
It might be highly coincidental, but
Mm.
they
Wow.
both have like affection, like speech affectation. I
Interesting. Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Not in a problematic way that probably can't be resolved, but like it's pretty pronounced on my younger boy. It's cute, but I'm also like, "Well, I didn't huh, where did this develop?" So
Mm.
just talking to you just now, I thought of that, but yeah, like the ramifications of social anxiety and not ever being able to reclaim certain rites of passage or milestones that are implicit in
Right.
someone's childhood or adolescence.
Mm.
That group of people I felt the worst for than any others. But yeah, we need to laugh.
We do need to laugh.
I'm so curious about before we go. You mentioned that there are games that you play in class. Could you give us like a sampling of one of them, or could you and I do it together?
Let's do it. Yeah. So once you've warmed up, you've done your ho ho ha ha ha, you've done some deep diaphragmatic breathing. Some laughter people, I'm one, incorporate the music because music is uplifting and so we dance around, just be silly. But some of the games. So Jessica, there's a new product on the market. Yes, there is. It's called Laughter Cream.
Ah.
It comes in a pump. It's so convenient. So you just pump out whatever you want, and then wherever you put it, you start laughing. Ooh. And take as much as you want, it's free. And this is something, laughter cream is a great exercise because you asked about how you can laugh on your own. So when you're in the bathroom in the morning doing your morning hygiene, you can be doing your laughter cream. You can be putting, you could even label your cream laughter cream.
Yeah.
And then when you put it on, you're like, ah, because it changes, right? Your body doesn't know the difference between real and imagined laughter. It
Yeah.
doesn't know the difference. Like your mind does, your
Mhm.
ego does, but your body's like, pew, pew, pew. I feel so great. Pew, pew, pew. The more you laugh, ha, 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 the more pew, pew, pew. That's all the love drugs. That sound is the love drugs. I keep wondering if I'm going to wear out my dispenser. Right? We're literally in charge of our own pharma. When we're stressed, we're
Ah.
not breathing properly, we're secreting the stress chemicals,
Mhm.
or we're laughing, we're fully oxygenated, um, secreting all the love drugs. It's up to us. And we're in both of those, like we're not in them, both are sympathetic and parasympathetic at the same time,
Mhm.
but we can control. And now I'm so aware of my body, and I really would invite your listeners to really get in tune with how they feel when they eat something. How do they feel when they talk to somebody? How do they feel? Because there are vampires, energy vampires in our
Yeah.
life,
Mhm.
right? Who are talking to her like, oh my gosh, every time I talk to my friend, I'm exhausted. Okay,
Mhm.
maybe an energy vampire. Be
Mhm.
aware of your energy.
Mhm.
Um, so when we're laughing, we're again totally present, we're fully oxygenated, and yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. So I would suggest that people notice how they're feeling, add these things into their life, just smile. So my resting face now is a smile. I'm always thinking, am I smiling? And then I smile. When I'm driving, you asked if I drive. When I'm driving when I get to a stoplight, I look at the next person, I'm trying to get their attention, I'm grinning. Because I want them to look at me like, oh, what is she doing? And then I want them to giggle or laugh because then they change.
It's
It's like
so
that chain.
absolutely. I mean, if you go into any public space too and you look around, most people are not smiling. But the person who has like just a happy expression on their face affects you differently, and you feel like, oh wow, thank you. We had a bus driver like that the other day, and I was just like, he's so nice, and he didn't even do or say anything really. He was just like pleasant, like
Mm.
he was happy in himself, in his experience, and he was smiling. You could like see him in the rear view, and like it would stop, and he was like, he would look out the window, and like he was alive. You know what I mean? I was like, it's not so common to just be simply alive. He was present and pleasantly aware of himself in a way that made me go, huh, I want to be like that.
Exactly. And it is a choice. It's really a choice. We can be happy doing whatever we're doing or joyful. Like happy is kind of conditional, but we can be
Right.
joy filled, whatever we're doing.
Mm.
You got the most menial job. You could do it really with love and with joy. You're the
Yeah.
sweeper. Great. Just grab your broom and be sweeping like with love. Maybe you're humming or singing
Mm.
as you're doing it because we only have one life. My husband and I traveled when we were 27, 13 months in Africa and Asia.
Mm.
And the things that people said to us, it was during another housing crisis and the double digit interest rates. And people were like, our friends were all buying houses and they said, you're never going to be able to buy a house. It was like that was the last thing on my mind. I didn't want a house at 27. I wanted to travel. I wanted to live my life.
Mm.
And then the accountant at the company I work for, he said, these are your prime earning years. You're never going to get this money back. I was like, I didn't, what? What kind of logic is this? I might not even make it to retirement. How do I know?
Yeah.
It just like, or I'm going to travel when I retire. Mm,
I hate
maybe.
that one. Well, I hate that one. Why do we have to wait?
Why wait? Well, the thing that I didn't realize at 27 is the world is going to be different. You can't even go to some of the places we went to because there's war there now.
Right.
There's environmental degradation. I mean, in Indonesia, they moved the capital to another island.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
They moved the capital because it
Mm.
was so, I mean, when we were there in 89, it was the water in Jakarta, the river water was like tar.
Oh God.
And people were fishing in it. It was like, oh, ugh,
Wow.
ugh. Right.
Well,
And energy level, like at 65 or older, you're not going to have the same energy or desires that you would have at 27. No, it's a
no,
different
they
experience.
expect that you'll be happy, going on a cruise if you're lucky, and that's it. But you're like, what if I want to go trekking, backpacking? What if I want to go to a remote village that I have to walk into?
Right.
Yeah, why wait?
Yeah, do it now. Someday never comes. There's no someday on the calendar.
There's no someday.
And that's one of my favorite things. Do you ever meet a friend and they're like, "Oh, Jessica, so great to see us. Well, let's get together someday."
I'm like, that's rude.
Someday, like let's get your date book if you mean it. Like don't just say things. People just say things.
I know. That's what I mean. I just feel like that's rude. Like it's a nicety, and I don't need, platitudes. Don't say that.
No, that's it. Be real. Like
Be
if only
real.
we could all be more real. Like just be true to yourself. What do you really want? And
Hmm.
then voice it. You might lose some people, but you'll gain others.
Hmm. But it's really it's like that's a great experience of feeling alive is taking the risk to be in your own authenticity at
Mm.
the perhaps the expense of some people falling away from you or confronting you or whatever it may be. And a lot of that stuff we just make up too. It's not necessarily happening.
True. Yes.
it's,
True.
it's a cerebral reality that we've created that is not happening. Ah, thanks so much for being here. Laughter does make you feel real because it can be like spurred in this way that might not feel like genuine at first, but then it's like it takes over, and then it's like the most genuine thing because it's just your body's doing it kind of without you. Like people, if you've, I'm sure many people, not everybody, has had a fit of laughter where it's like you can't stop. And maybe your parents are getting mad at you because you need to go to bed or whatever. You don't care. Like it is the best feeling.
It's so beautiful. And I think that's why it was squished out of us because you can't control people when they're laughing full on. You cannot, like a crowd of people laughing. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Okay, people, take your seats. Okay, everyone, places. It's like, ah, ha, 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 ha. We don't care that the thing's starting.
Totally. You cannot control people who are laughing. I think that should be someone's campaign, and they should be a laugh yoga instructor, and they should run for office. Hey, it's you,
Hey.
Kathy, the president.
Oh my gosh, I'm far too sensitive. No way. Not that I have so many skeletons, but they make them up anyway.
No, I'm just joking. That is not a game I would wish upon anybody. No,
No.
stay here in the grassroots.
Although we do need good people to run. That's the thing is we get all these kind of people that don't have integrity, and they have their own agenda, and I think they get corrupted by the power once they get in. They might
Yeah.
go in with good intentions, but then,
I think the system eats them
yeah,
and regurgitates them as, you know, a puppet of their bidding.
I agree.
To put it, this is my simple analysis of large numbers.
Laughter, it really, it's what we focus on. If we, and I know you know this, but it's what we focus on. If we see the world as, oh, everyone's out to get me, then that's what you'll be shown. I see opportunity everywhere I look. I'm just like, wow, there's opportunity. There's so much opportunity. And it's
Mhm.
being open to that. And that's what laughter has given me, the permission to laugh, live long, laugh hard, whatever, all the things.
Laugh hard, live long.
Yeah, right.
Come on, put it
And
on
not
a
really
shirt.
care, and
Mm.
not care about, oh, I'm laughing too loud. Oh, well, that's your problem. If you don't like the sound of giggles, well, that's on you.
I don't want a full body orgasm from laughing, then I
Right.
can't help you.
True story.
Kathy, where can people come do your class and whatever offers you have? Can you tell us what you have going on?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, come to my it's free online laughter club. It's free, so there's no,
Free online laughter club. Online
yeah,
laughter club? Is that, and I'll
yes.
put the link in the show
Oh
notes.
no, it's cathysclub.com is
Okay.
the URL, but it's free. It's online. It's Tuesday mornings, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. It's 30 minutes of super fun self-care. And I don't record my sessions, so people can just come and play and just allow themselves the permission. And if you're
Yeah.
going to come and you've never been, plan to come twice, because the first time might be like, oh gosh, that was weird. And then you're like, oh my, wow, I love that. That was so good. And then
Oh,
it becomes a habit, which is what my goal is, for people to laugh every day. Just make it your new habit.
yeah. Oh, well, you're in the right line of work, my friend. Um, I'll share your link also with my email list so people can come
Oh,
chat
wonderful.
with
Thank
you,
you.
and I'll put your information in the show notes. It was so fun to talk to you. I want to be as cool as you when I'm in my
When you're
60s.
62.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's my Betty birthday. So there you go for trivia. That means I'm the same age as the year I was born.
Oh, what's it called?
Beddian,
Betty.
Beddian, after a fireman who came up with it.
Oh, we're like, you didn't come up with that. It's been around forever.
I was like, there has to be a name for the year that you're born, that, I'm like, oh, I'm the same age as the year that I was born. There
Yeah.
must be a word for it. And so I Googled it and there was.
Oh my God. Well, I'll have that when I'm 81.
Okay, all right. So beautiful. Love it.
Thanks so much, Kathy. And thank you for being here. We hope you had fun listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it with someone who you think would enjoy it as well, or somebody who needs to laugh, or somebody who's feeling stuck, and they need some Kathy laugh in their life. And if you would please laugh your way to the review section of wherever you listen to your podcast and give us a 5-star review, and we'll give you a high five. Awesome. Ho ho. Ha
Ha
ha.
ha ha.
Ho ho.
Ho ho. Ha
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 ha.
ha.
All right, laugh all the way to your job or laugh all the way to the bank or wherever you're going. Thanks so much, Kathy. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And how do I work my computer? Okay.